Well, hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone. Let's move on to chapter 27 of In the Company of Witches. We last left off at the town meeting, the town hall meeting, so let's see what's going on. Chapter 27. Nora stiffened beside me, but to her credit, she said nothing. I looked down at her hands just to make sure she wasn't working some sort of charm with her fingers. But no, her hands were folded neatly, albeit a little tightly on her lap. Mr. Graves, William began, I am sorry for all that your family has been through. The purpose of this meeting tonight, though, is to discuss concrete security measures that fall within the town's purview. Just saying what everyone's thinking. He held up his hand. But you go ahead. I'll keep quiet. Williams placed her hand on the podium and took a deep breath. Now, is there anyone who would like to begin? I have a concern, a voice called out. I recognized the woman who had spoken, Jane Robertson. I didn't know her personally, but if I wasn't mistaken, she taught piano lessons out of her home. William stepped back from the podium and waved out her hand. She then took her seat with the other council members. The mousy woman in baggy jeans and a mauve cardigan got up from her seat and walked towards the front of the room. I wasn't too worried about what she might have to say until I caught her exchanging glances with Liz Coleman, who gave her a small nod. Once Jane Robertson had positioned herself at the podium, she took a moment to smooth her hair and straighten her cardigan. The delay made it all the more shocking when she called out in a startlingly loud voice, "Citizens of Evenfall!" Thankfully, I wasn't the only one who jumped. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about the string of attacks that have ripped through our community. I've heard some of you call it vandalism, but that is not what it is. Wanton acts of destruction. She hit the podium with her fist. That's what's happening in our town, and we should all be afraid. Izzy and I again exchanged looks. Attacks? Wanton acts of destruction? For a small, meek-looking woman, Jane Robertson certainly did have a presence. I'm sorry to interrupt, William said, but could you tell us specifically what the acts you're referring to? All the dead plants, Jane said in a much quieter voice. Someone or something is killing all my fall flowers. A little murmur ran through the crowd. I had 3 pots of yellow chrysanthemums. Bought them just last week. They're all dead now. I don't know why someone would do such a thing. She looked at Nora. It's certainly not something a normal person would do. That's all I have to say. Thank you. We all watched Jane Robertson scurry back to her seat. I guess her brand of passion was short-lived, or she had run out of rehearsed lines. I looked over at Liz Coleman. She was trying to act cool, but there was something in her expression that led me to believe she had hoped that would go better. William stepped back over the podium. Thank you, Jane, for sharing your concerns. Although I'm not sure the dead chrysanthemums could be attributed conclusively to vandalism. Right you are, Williams. The acts aren't vandalism, a new voice called out. At least not of the mortal kind. Another rumble ran through the crowd. At least one person stifled to laugh. My eyes searched for who had made the comment, but I already knew who was behind it, even before I heard Izzy sigh. Do you have something you'd like to add, Mr. Henderson? The look on William's face clearly spoke to the fact she hoped he did not. No, no, he said, rocking on his feet. Other than the fact that blights of the kind Jane is describing are often the handiwork of— A loud sneeze cut Mr. Henderson off. Sorry, Nixie called out, holding a hand to her nose. I have terrible allergies this time of year. She chuckled. I guess all the plants in town aren't dead. The crowd joined in her laughter. I caught the shop girl's eye, and she gave me a wink. Right, William said, once the crowd had quieted. I suggest we table this issue until our next formal meeting, And in the meantime, perhaps everyone can monitor their landscaping to see if this is an ongoing problem or not. Now, does anyone else have a topic concern they would like to raise? I do, a voice boomed from the crowd. I followed it to Frank Booth. A number of people groaned as he got to his feet and hiked up his pants. We all knew what was coming. Mr. Booth, William said before he could begin, if you are planning to once again complain about the noise of the town's garbage trucks, I would remind you that we have investigated the topic thoroughly. And nothing's been done about it. There's nothing to be done. I have, however, been instructed to inform you that if you persist in chasing after the trucks, banishing your broom in a threatening manner, the sanitation workers will contact the authorities. May I recommend a good set of earplugs? No, you may not. Williams closed her eyes. Please take your seat, Mr. Booth. I think it's time we got to the issue at hand, don't you? The cold dread I had experienced early crept back over me as Liz Coleman got to her feet and headed for the podium. I could tell Williams didn't want to give her the floor, but in the end there wasn't much she could do but step out of the way. She did, however, whisper something to Liz that looked like a warning. Liz nodded and rested her file on the podium. Good evening, everyone. I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak to you all tonight. The hall went deathly quiet. I know many of you won't enjoy hearing what it is I'm about to say, but it's necessary. She paused, allowing some tension to build. What happened to my aunt was not an accident. No one breathed. The town of Evenfall is in danger, and it's all because of one family. Liz Coleman took a long look at me and my aunts, the Warrens of Ivywood Hollow.